Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sean Atkins, and I'm the chair of the East Point Planning and Zoning Commission. At this time, I'd like to call our meeting to order. Staff, would you please sound roll call?
Commissioner Lovett, Commissioner Bell,
Here.
Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Fan,
Here.
Commissioner Atkins,
Present.
Commissioner Tucker,
Here.
Commissioner McKnight, Commissioner Maxwell, Commissioner Mitchell. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like for everyone to please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Commissioners, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt our agenda.
Move that we adopt the agenda.
Is there a second? It's been moved by Commissioner Mitchell, second by Commissioner Maxwell, that we adopt our agenda for our January 17, 2019 meeting. All in favor, sound aye. Aye. All opposed, sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. Our agenda is adopted. I think there's a question from our zoning attorney.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, it appears that we do not have any applicants present, so I was going to suggest that a motion be made to amend the agenda to move forward with those items where we do have applicants. It appears that we have an applicant here for AOK Properties, which is the third item on the agenda. And of course, the second item on the agenda, the applicant is here, and that way we could move through, and hopefully by then, the first item on the agenda, the applicant would be present.
Okay. Okay.
So I would just ask that you go ahead
Switch.
and, entertain a motion to amend the agenda for the purposes of changing the order as outlined.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Mitchell.
I would like to amend the agenda to start with the Sean Atkins.
Okay. So the motion is to amend the agenda so that we would first hear case number 2018 U as in umbrella -007-12, and case number 2018 V as in Victor C as in Charles -021-12, and then we would go in the order of the item below that, number 3, the third case on our agenda, and then we'll come back to case number 1. That is the motion. Is there a second?
A second for discussion.
Yes, Commissioner Tucker.
If it would be acceptable for a friendly amendment to that, would like to start with AOK Properties LLC as first, then the Sean Atkins, and then the third one being the 2018 V020112.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Mitchell has accepted the friendly amendment, so the motion is to hear case number 2018 Z as in Zebra -011-12 and 2018 V as in Victor C as in Charles -022-12. It's been moved by Commissioner Mitchell, seconded by Commissioner Tucker, that we change the agenda as so. All in favor sound aye. Aye. All opposed sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. We will proceed with the agenda as just amended. Having said that, our next agenda item is new business. Each of the cases on our agenda this evening will require a public hearing. At this time, I'll read the rules for the public hearing. Public hearings before the Planning and Zoning Commission shall be conducted in accordance to Section 10-2219 of the East Point Zoning Code and Development Regulations as follows. Per Persons both favoring and opposing the proposed case will be provided an opportunity to address the commission. The applicant for the zoning case, or the applicant's designated representative, if any, will be entitled to speak first, followed by other speakers in favor of the proposal for a total of 15 minutes. Those who oppose the proposed zoning case will then be permitted to speak for a total of 15 minutes. By majority vote, the commission may increase the total time for speakers, provided that each side is given the same amount of time. If there is more than one speaker for a side, the chair or the presiding officer may limit the time allotted to each individual speaker other than the zoning applicant. The zoning applicant may reserve a portion of his or her allotted time for rebuttal. Speakers must adhere to the rules of decorum. Prior to speaking, each speaker shall identify him or herself and state his or her current address. Each speaker shall speak only to the merits of the proposed zoning decision under consideration, shall address remarks only to the commission, and shall refrain from making personal attacks on any other speaker. The presiding officer may refuse a speaker the right to continue if, after first being cautioned, the speaker continues to violate the rules of decorum. You've heard our rules for public hearings. Commissioners, at this time, I entertain a motion to open a public hearing for case number 2018 Z as in zebra -011-12 and case number 2018 V as in Victor C as in Charles -022-12.
So moved.
Is there a second? The public hearing is now open. Staff, would you please sound this zoning item?
Yes, Commissioner. Case number 2018 Z-011-12 and associated case 2018 BC-022-12. The applicant is AOK Properties, LLC, located at 0 Gillette Road and 0 Bonico Drive. Wants to rezone two properties from I-1 Light Industrial and R1 Single-Family Residential to RT Residential Townhomes with a two-part concurrent variance to reduce the minimum width from 30 feet to 20 feet in accordance with Section 10-2069EF and to reduce the lot size from 3,000 square feet to 2,000 square feet as noted in Section 10-2069 subsection EE. Staff recommendation. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. At this time, is the applicant present? Please step to the podium, state your first and last name and your current address.
Scott Bennett, General Counsel for MK Industries, 6685 Peachtree Industrial Boulevard, Doraville, Georgia 30360. And I'm here tonight on behalf of AOK Properties. That's one of our subsidiary companies that owns these two tracts of land. You ready for me to proceed?
Yes, sir.
First, let me say hello to Linda. It's been quite a while since I've seen Linda. We used to work together and work against each other, I guess, in DeKalb County on some issues, but it's good to see her again. As we discussed at the workshop, we own these two properties at the very edge of the city. We're surrounded, if you notice, really on all sides by the city of South Fulton except for Gillette Road itself. The property is, as you can tell, that Beneco Drive is not much of a drive. It's a dirt road, as we discussed, and it serves really as a driveway to those houses. In order to access that single-family portion, we would have to encroach on those people's front yards pretty much to put a road in. So what we've proposed to do is to allow Gillette to be the dividing line between the light industrial, which is to the north and the east of our property, between light industrial, and then have this residential on the southwestern side. We've proposed townhomes to be allowed at 20 feet wide with 100-foot deep lots that will be laid out, as you can see on that diagram. Half of that residential property is currently zoned residential, would be the open space. We wouldn't build on that. You can see where the amenities would be. And we think there's sufficient buffers given the right-of-way for Gillette Road, and then the buffers going over to the light industrial to protect our property, and the homeowners that would be there with the backyards of those townhomes. And, as we discussed, it's very difficult with this shape to do something with it. And so If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or, we can wait. I don't know if anyone's hearing against it, but this is what we're proposing to do with those 2 tracks.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Are there any other persons here to speak in favor of the zoning application? Any other persons here to speak in favor? Is there anyone here to speak against the zoning case? Anyone here to speak against the zoning case? Hearing none and seeing none, Commissioners, at this time I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing, Mr. Chair.
Is there a
Second.
second? It's been moved by Commissioner Fan, seconded by Commissioner Mitchell, that we close the public hearing. All in favor sound aye.
Aye.
All opposed sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please, at this time, sound your recommendation?
In case number 2018Z-011-11, concurrent case number 2018 VC-022-12, staff recommends denial of rezoning of properties from I-1 Light Industrial and R1 Single Family Residential to RT Residential Townhome District due to nonconformity with the vision, intent, and use and scale of the business park industrial character area adopted in the City of East Point's 2017 Comprehensive Land Use Update and Future Development Map. Subsequently, staff recommends denial of the 2-part concurrent variance to reduce the minimum lot width from 30 feet to 20 feet and to reduce the lot size from 3,000 square feet to 2,000 square feet.
Thank you. Commissioners, you've heard from the applicant, Mr. Bennett, representing AOK Properties, LLC, and you've also heard staff's recommendation. At this time, I entertain a motion. Let us not all speak at once, please.
I'll speak. Motion to accept staff's recommendation for denial. Motion to accept staff's recommendation for denial.
Is there a second? It's been moved by Commissioner Fan, seconded by Commissioner Tucker, that this body recommend denial for case number 2018 Z as in Zebra -011-12 and 2018 V as in Victor, C as in Charles -022-12. Any comments, questions, or concerns at this time? Hearing none, all in favor sound aye.
Aye.
All opposed sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. This body recommends denial of this case. Our next agenda item, it includes myself, the chair, as the applicant, so at this time I'll recuse myself and ask that our provisional chair, in the absence of our vice chair, to preside over the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Joel Tucker, and the chair has just recused himself. And in the absence of the vice chair, as provisional chair, I'll be chairing our next agenda item. Our next agenda item is case number 2018V00712, 2018VC021-12, and it's 2-part concurrent variance. Staff, would you please sound the next agenda item?
There's too many microphones.
You can take it here. Just move this over here.
Sorry about that, guys. Yes,
No
Commissioner.
worries.
Case number 2018U-007-12 with associated case 2018VC-021-12. I'm sorry, 12. The applicant is Sean Atkins, located at 1311 Jefferson Avenue. Wants a special use permit to establish a habitable accessory structure with a concurrent variance for relief from the 3-foot setback requirement from all property lines in accordance with Section 10-2130, subsection 11.
All right, well done, thank you. This item requires a public hearing. The rules pertaining to public hearings, as previously read, remain in effect. At this time, I will entertain a motion to open a public hearing on case number 2018V007-12 and 2018VC021-12.
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we open a public hearing for this case. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing no nays, the public hearing is now open. Would the applicant please approach the podium and state your name, address, and speak to your application?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Sean Atkins, and I reside at 1311 Jefferson Avenue, East Point, Georgia, 30344. Commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to present this case. As stated by staff, I am seeking a special use permit to build a habitable accessory structure above the two-car detached garage located on my property. This particular structure is allowed within my zoning district, however, it does require a special use permit. It is a concurrent variance as a part of this case because of the location of the current detached garage. One of the things that I learned in doing the research to get prepared for this is that the garage was also built in 1920, so it too is almost 99 years old. And at the time that it was built within side yard setbacks that I am assuming were in compliance with the current zoning laws. Over the years, as those things have changed, the garage now is within the side yard setback requirements, and so we'll need a variance for that. The property sits on 2.1 acre lot, and the primary structure is a 2,408 square foot home. The space that I'm seeking to build would be just above the detached two-car garage, and it will be a total of 480 square feet. I bring those points up specifically because according to our zoning regulations, a habitable structure cannot be more than 50% of the primary structure, so I am well under that amount. Even if we incorporated the amount of space below the garage, the unconditioned space, I am still well below the 50%. As it relates to the variance, my home is located in what we deem a traditional urban neighborhood, and traditional urban neighborhoods are usually characterized by smaller, narrow lots and generally characterized by a concentrated density and mixed housing types. And so as with this, my particular case, the lot is extremely narrow. It's a 50-foot lot, but the lot is deep. I believe it's 150 feet deep. Approval of the variance would not go beyond the minimum necessary to afford relief, as the newly built addition will stay within the footprint of the existing detached two-car garage upon which it will be built. So I'm not asking to encroach further upon the side yard setback. I'm only asking to go up, and the footprint of the two-car garage would remain the same. And because habitable accessory structures are a permitted use in my zoning district, the variance does not expand, enlarge, or reestablish a non-conforming use. And so I am asking this evening for a special use permit to build a habitable accessory structure and a relief to the side yard setback as a part of the variance so that I may build that particular space above the two-car garage. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins. At this time, I would ask if there are any proponents that wish to speak. Any proponents? Any opponents that wish to speak? Seeing none, Commissioners, at this time I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded we close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please sound your recommendation?
Case number 2018U-007-12 with concurrent variance. Case number 2018 VC-021-12. Staff recommends a special use permit for a habitable accessory structure in the R1A zoning district be deferred to the February 2019 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to allow for an amendment to the requested concurrent variance.
Thank you. Mr. Atkins, do you accept the staff recommendation for deferral to our next regularly scheduled meeting in February?
I do, sir.
All right. Commissioners, at this time we have heard from the applicant and heard staff's recommendation for deferral. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to defer until the February 19th.
Thank you, sir.
February meeting 2019.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, any comments or questions? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Let the record reflect one nay. All those okay. All right, so the case has been deferred to our next regularly scheduled meeting in February. At this time, I'll return the meeting to our incredible chair, Atkins.
Clyde, can I not have my deferral? Staff, would you please sign our next agenda item, 2018 V as in Victor -020-12?
Yes, Commissioner. Case number 2018V-020-12. The applicant, Mithawala Inc., is located at 2871 Main Street. They are requesting a variance for a reduction of the off-street parking requirements as required in Section 10-2154.
Thank you. Commissioners, at this time, I entertain a motion to open the public hearing for case number 2018 V as in Victor -020-12.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Tucker, second by Commissioner Fan, that the public hearing is open for 2018 V as in Victor -020-12. All in favor sound aye.
Aye.
All opposed sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now open. Is the applicant present this evening? If so, please step to the podium, state your first and last name and your current address.
Hello, my name is Nafisa.
Can you pull the microphone down, please?
My name is Nafisa Mitaiwala. I reside at 3291 Sir Henry Street in East Point. I am here today because we bought a property on Main Street, 2871, which is located right across from the MARTA station.
Can you speak up just a little bit?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
So we bought this property hoping, because we've been living in East Point for a long time, and we would like to open up a restaurant or like a pastry shop, something to that effect. At the time when we bought the property, we did not realize that, there's not enough parking, so that's why we're here to ask for the variance. The existing property has about space for about 4 parking spaces in the back, in the alley area. And since there's Mexican restaurant on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, there's like a convenience store that has a parking space, but unfortunately, we don't have any. We've looked at many different ways how we can utilize that space and make more parking space, but unfortunately, the design of the building is such that we're not able to. So that's why we're here to ask for the variance. I know that we've looked at other places, like in Decatur and other places where the downtown area doesn't have much parking, so we were hoping that City of East Point, since they're building the new City Hall, and so hopefully they'll have some more parking spaces in the back over there, so that would accommodate some of our parking spaces.
Thank you, Ms. Mantwala. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the zoning case also? Anyone else here to speak in favor of the zoning case? Is there anyone here to speak against the zoning case? Anyone here to speak against the zoning case? Hearing none and seeing none, Commissioners, at this time I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been moved by Commissioner Tucker, seconded by Commissioner Fan, that close the public hearing for 2018 V as in Victor -020-12. All in favor sound aye.
Aye.
All opposed sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. The public hearing is now closed. Staff, would you please sound your recommendation?
Case number 2018 V-020-12. Staff recommends approval of a variance to reduce the number of off-street parking spaces from 16 as required in Section 10-2154 of the zoning ordinance to 4.
Commissioners, you've heard from the applicant, and you've also heard staff's recommendation. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Tucker?
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval.
Okay, is there a second?
Second move.
It's been moved by Commissioner Tucker, seconded by Commissioner Maxwell, that this body approves. It's a variance, so the body, the motion should be made in the form of not a recommendation.
Recommend approval.
Okay. The motion is to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay. And Mr. Maxwell, does your second still stand?
Yes.
Okay. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
I have a comment.
Yes, Commissioner Tucker, and then Commissioner Lovett.
With this particular property, I went and looked at it, couldn't figure out how in the world there could be property that had no parking. Yours doesn't.
Yes.
It looks like the front part of it was an original part of it, and maybe at some point it was added on because it's
Yes.
wood in the back.
Yes.
So that is why, because of your hardship, that I am recommending approval.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate that.
We wish you the best with the building.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lovett?
Thank you. The 4 parking spaces that you do have available to you, will they be used for customers or for employees?
Well, the priority would probably be employees first, because without employees, we would not be able to, I don't think all 4 would be required for employees, but at least 2 of them can be for employees, 2 for the customers. And also, we had a recommendation that we can talk to the convenience store that's located next to us and see if, we can get something where they would allow us to use some of their parking spaces for our customers to use that parking space. Because I think they have like 8 or 10 spaces.
Now, which location is that?
It's located right next to our location. It's a convenience store. I don't know if we can go back to the map.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
There's a
So-
Mexican restaurant right next to, like ours is in the middle, and there's a Mexican restaurant on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, there's a convenience store. It's located right across from the MARTA station.
So what is going to be the difference in the parking? This may be a question for staff. What is going to be the difference in parking requirements for a restaurant as opposed to a bakery/coffee shop?
They're the same requirements. It's based on the square footage, and of those, they're all in the same category. Essentially, what the requirement is for the square footage of this particular building, it equal to 18 square feet. They got a reduction in parking of 2 because they're across from the MARTA station. So since they are able to show that they can comply with 4 parking spaces, staff was amenable to that.
Just curious question. So where will people park when those 4 spaces have been utilized or being occupied?
I honestly don't have an answer for that.
Okay, thank you.
Our concept was, if I can say something.
Well, the commissioner would have to ask you the question because the public hearing is closed.
Okay.
So Commissioner Lovett, would you like to ask the applicant a question for further clarification, or are you okay with the?
I do have an additional question, and that is, you indicated that the occupants next door, the owners next door, may be amenable to your customers parking in their spaces. Have you gotten that approval?
No, not yet, because we weren't sure, exactly if we could get the variance or not, and then, so we're kind of like one step at a time. So we definitely we will ask them, but we have not yet.
Thank you.
Any more comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, I will take this opportunity to speak to this case. I'll speak a little bit to your question, Commissioner Lovett. I'm glad we have this slide on the screen because I do want to speak to this slide. One of the things that we discussed, this was a case that we discussed at length in our work session last week. What this image on the slide does not show, it shows you 4 parking spaces on this parcel of land, but it does not show you how you get to those 4 parking spaces. My concern with having this parking for anyone other than employees is that we are asking for an accident. There's only an alley that leads to those 4 parking spaces. According to what we were able to see last week, that alley is probably approximately only 10 foot wide. So there's not even enough space for 2 cars in opposite directions to travel that alley to reach those parking spaces. I would personally be concerned having customers going in and out of that parking space because it's an alley, it's a tight space. There is, I think, a fence at the very end, so you can't get to the other side. And even with this angled parking, it's great to take a mouse and drop vehicles in those spaces, but I don't really know what the turning radius is. I don't really know how you get into those spaces. One of the things that I mentioned in the work session last week, having been here for probably 20 years on this commission, several similar cases have come before us. I know that we've dealt with those cases, and I think that we've done so in a very fair way. I am okay if there were no customer parking. I am not okay with it, but I get it and I understand because of the parcel, because of the narrowness of the property. I personally would like to see some way for the applicant to advertise a ride share, so to have like a ride share stand out front. It is located directly across the street from the MARTA. One of the things that we are trying to do is to increase pedestrian activity in the downtown area, but as it relates to parking in the rear of the building for customers, I think it would be a disaster. I think that we'd have East Point Police over there every other day for accidents because it's just not, you just can't get to it. And I was also in favor of using that only for service. I would not like to have service come to the front of the building to deliver your supplies and your items, but if those spaces could be used for employees or service, and I don't know if we need to condition that here. If so, then a commissioner would need to do that, but that is a very, very tight lot to get to for parking. And if you try to back one of those cars out as shown on that map, you're going to run into that wall or whatever the other property is. It's just very tight. So those are my 3 cents. There is a motion by Commissioner Tucker and a second by Commissioner.
I didn't second this.
Who seconded this?
I'm not comfortable with it.
I thought it was Fan. Is Maxwell? Maxwell, you did not.
Thank
You did not. There is a motion to approve made by Commissioner Tucker, a second by Commissioner Maxwell.
And I'm not opposed to those conditions. Are
Okay.
those conditions that
We would have to add
that we
those
would,
conditions.
should, could, need to?
You'd have to, propose a friendly amendment. It's your motion, is that right? Okay, so someone would have to propose a friendly amendment, and you accept it, and so, but I would like to hear the articulation of those conditions in a
But-
little bit more formal manner.
We would have to write those out and state those. I would be
Yeah.
very uncomfortable saying that it's amended based on my comments because it was a lot, so I think that we would have to articulate that so that we
Yes.
can read it into the record as well.
So I would suggest that someone propose a friendly amendment with specific language as to the conditions, and then it will be up to Commissioner Tucker to determine if he's going to accept or not.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Fan.
I would make another amendment that we table this matter till next month meeting so we can have further discussion so that we're clear, because shooting from the hip ain't good. So we can sit down and be clear on what those conditions will be so the attorney can write it out for us so it stands a muster in terms of any legality in the future. Because you stated a lot of stuff, and some I agree with, some I didn't agree with, but I think the one that we probably need to sit down at the next meeting and kind of work it out, and I'll be willing to come to work session at that meeting and work it out.
Well, we did have great discussion at the last meeting, and I don't want to unduly penalize the applicant, but you have made a motion. Commissioner Fan's motion is to table this, that's his specific motion, is to table it, his language, for our February meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Is comments, questions, or concerns?
Comment.
Yes,
I want
Commissioner
the
Mitchell.
table, you can't discuss the table.
That's right. That's right.
You only vote it up and vote it down. Come in with that.
Thank you, Mr. Fan.
There's a motion to table this agenda item to our regularly scheduled February meeting made by Commissioner Fan, seconded by Commissioner Lovett. All in favor, sound aye.
Aye.
All opposed, sound nay.
Nay.
Okay.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Commissioner Lovett,
Yes.
Commissioner Bell,
No.
Commissioner Miller, I'm sorry, Commissioner Fan,
Yes.
Commissioner Tucker,
Yes.
Commissioner McKnight. I'm sorry,
No.
Commissioner Maxwell. Commissioner Mitchell.
No.
The motion passes to table.
Okay.
Yes.
You got it.
The motion passes to table, okay? So we will table this agenda item to our next work session,
Okay,
okay?
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if you guys could come to the work session, that would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I do believe that we, like, as I mentioned, we spent the majority of our meeting talking about this agenda item, so there were lots and lots of discussions about it. So I would just say this, not just for this case, but in other cases, I don't want to unduly penalize an applicant because the commissioners have not done their due diligence. We all know that our work sessions are the second Thursday of the month, and so I do ask that all of the commissioners come to the work session, but 90% of our discussion was about this because we tried to figure out all sorts of ways to make this work because of the narrow lot. Okay?
Well, I want to just say this, Mr. Chair, you the one came up with all the conditions. And if you wanted to have those conditions, you should have had them outlined so that we could at least understood what the conditions are. Because we know what the property is, and we know the issues with the property, and something was raised by Commissioner Lovett or someone in terms of ride sharing or sharing, whether or not she's talked to the other people about that. That should have been raised at that time, so she could have said, well, I have a letter from the other property owner said that they were willing to share the parking. That would alleviate a lot of the discussion tonight. So, I mean, no, I was not at work session, but I do understand when we talk about putting conditions on people, we want to make sure that those conditions are fair conditions that they can agree to and they will abide by, because it will come back to the city if they violate those conditions.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you so very much.
And Commissioner Fan, I do appreciate your comments. I was not talking specifically about
I
you.
understand.
You were not the only commissioner not at the work session. And your comment, we did discuss having an agreement already. So it would not have alleviated it because we discussed that at great length as well. So I do appreciate your comments, but there were a lot of discussions about this case at our meeting last week.
But I will
Okay.
get the next one.
Okay,
I won't promise you all of them.
okay. At this time, we'll go to our next agenda item, which would be announcements. Staff, do you have any announcements?
Actually, Mr. Chair, I hate to bring this to your attention, but you skipped approving the minutes for December, so I would ask that you go back to that agenda item and
Thank you so very
deal
much.
with the minutes. Thank you.
I did, and thank you for catching that, Madam Attorney. Commissioners, as stated, I did overlook the approval of our December 20, 2018 meeting minutes. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve our December 20, 2018 meeting minutes.
To move?
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Tucker, second by Commissioner Maxwell, that we approve our December 20, 2018 meeting minutes. All in favor, sound aye. Aye. All opposed, sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. Our December 20, 2018 meeting minutes are approved. If there are no announcements, Commissioners, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? It's been moved by Commissioner Fan, second by Commissioner Mitchell, that we adjourn our meeting. All in favor, sound aye. Aye. All opposed, sound nay. Hearing none, the ayes have it. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.